My name is Marta, and in this Red Gaming Tech video I am here with some rather juicy news regarding Microsoft's plans for the future, or more specifically, some comments from Phil Spencer about what they're going to be doing regarding their upcoming games. Now this comment happened in a rather lengthy interview with VentureBeat, which of course I will link in the description below, but also in this video I'm going to be addressing some less than happy news regarding Meltdown and Spectre. And yes, I know anything regarding those two is probably not going to be particularly happy, but still, let's continue things with Phil Spencer, shall we? Now, regardless of your opinions on which platform is better, it definitely has become a bit of a meme that Xbox is a bit lacking in killer first-party games. And to be honest, it's not wrong. Obviously, it's a very subjective opinion, but it's not wrong at its core. And Phil is definitely not deaf to this, as he himself addresses. He says, quote, "I'm not deaf to the meme out there regarding our content and our need to invest more. Definitely we're at a point where we're investing more and will continue to do that. When I look at Matt and his responsibility with his team, it's about charting our future in first-party content. Follow that with each one of the leaders we have. There's an existing plan, and I feel good about that plan, but we all know that the plan all up for studios is expanding. Having Matt's leadership there and navigating the expansion, what bets we make, the teams we bet on, the teams we create, is going to be critical. Some of it is with the existing leaders we have there, and there are always opportunities to do more with the teams we have. But also, as we expand, having a leader in place so new investments can be driven and land in the strategy we have is going to be critical for me. That's really where I look at Matt's focus, both the existing franchise and equally, if not a little more, thinking about our future content and how that growth happens in a thoughtful way, a way that delivers to our fans." So basically the TLDR of all of that, as lovely as Phil Spencer is, he can't shake the PR guy inside of him. But basically what he's saying is that they're working together with Matt to, plan what to do with their studios, work with each other more, and that was a statement that Matt also said himself that I'll kind of go through in a second. But obviously the key thing is they want to produce more games, and that will come in something quite exciting in just a second. But what I think is also interesting is that Matt Booty, who kind of swapped positions with Phil Spencer, he is now the corporate vice president of Microsoft Game Studios, whereas Phil has moved up as executive vice president of gaming. But Matt basically said that they want to basically build some bridges between the development studios, work together, make use of the skills that they might have, instead of the development houses kind of being separate, guy from development house A could call up the guy from development house B and be like, "Hey, I know you worked on this type of thing before, can you help us with this problem?" And him going, "Yeah, okay, send it over, or I'll come and look," or whatever it happens to be. So I definitely think that is something that is going to be pretty awesome, because, that sharing of skills is really, really useful. But the exciting part for you guys, I think, is the fact that they are working over at Microsoft on a brand new Fable game. And you might sort of raise your eyebrows, I don't know what eyebrow is, and say, "Oh, okay, is this going to be another Fable Legends?" No, actually it seems from what we can gather that this is going to be a open world action RPG. And it's going to be tasked by the UK dev Playground. And you might say, okay, who are they? Well, they make Forza Horizon. And you might go, okay, that's an odd choice. But from what I can dig up, basically what they've done over at Microsoft is that they've hired a bunch of new people over at Playground Games. And undoubtedly there will be some higher-ups involved as well, and they've got a whole new team working on this new Fable game. And according to rumours scattered around the internet, the new Fable obviously, is planned as a story and character focused open world action game. And unsurprisingly, they're planning rather significant investments, but don't expect to even hear rumblings of this for years, because it is very early in terms of development, with Playground currently staffing up the team from the double digits it has at the moment to their triple digit target. So basically they're just buffing up their team, getting the people in they need for this, because obviously a project like this is no small feat and is going to take a lot of hands on the wheel. So yeah, I will admit I was not that hopeful at first when I first read the headline, but obviously digging into it more, I'm going, okay, that sounds promising, but obviously there's still some surety going to be amongst gamers and of course the community as a whole, because this isn't Lionhead at the helm. Of course, Lionhead are now no longer a thing, and indeed there are some guys over at Lionhead are probably scratching their heads going, "Buh?" And indeed we have a comment here from Fable co-creator Simon Carter, who spoke to Eurogamer saying, quote, "I have slightly mixed feelings On one hand, it's great for the UK games industry and very pleasing that Fable isn't dead. Indeed, it would be lovely to play one as a punter without coming out in hives. On the other hand, it's a little curious to get rid of the team that is uniquely expert in making Fable and then try and make Fable. Fable is a weird game and a tough one to deconstruct for a new team. That said, the team in question is very talented and I'm sure they'll do a fantastic job. And to be fair, he's not wrong. Fable was always a weird one. You know, it kind of derailed a bit towards the end with Fable 3 being questionable, shall we say. And I think a lot of people would prefer that this be handled by Lionhead, but obviously that is just not possible. Lionhead is no longer a thing, but as I said, this is being handled by some very experienced developers. They've been going for quite some time. They've been around since 2010. And again, while undoubtedly they're going to be having some very skilled people that have been working at the studio for a long time, they are hugely increasing the amount of people working at the studio for this particular project. So you might say, okay, Forza seems a bit of an odd choice, but obviously that's not all they've done. They've not only worked for Playground Games, and you still have a lot of sort of transferable skills, even if they haven't worked on this particular type of game before. And I'm sure when they're hiring, they are going to be hiring people who have written, coded, you know, done the design, that sort of thing for these types of games, even if they were on a smaller scale before. So let's call me cautiously optimistic, shall we say. I'm a little, shall we say, skeptical, because that's my natural position, but also we have seen where Microsoft wanted to take Fable with Fable Legends, and obviously that was canned. So we'll see. But I'm definitely hopeful, because it seems they have definitely learned to go, okay, people want an actual Fable game, let's make a Fable game, because, you know, we'd like to actually have our own version of Horizon Zero Dawn, if that's okay with you. And Horizon Zero Dawn was a great game, so if we get one of those but on Xbox, cool, sign me up. So let's move on swiftly to Meltdown and Spectre, shall we? And unfortunately, the news here is a lot less promising, as obviously there have been several firmware updates to try and minimise the risk to Meltdown and Spectre as much as possible. And basically, these firmware updates are causing reboots on systems with Broadwell and Haswell processors, and Intel have acknowledged that the updates are also causing blue screen of deaths on Kaby Lake, Skylake, Ivy Bridge and Sandy Bridge platform. So, you know, just a few, you know, not too many. It doesn't stop there, I'm afraid. The fun and games is not quite finished for today, as unfortunately people who are searching for said patches to try and protect themselves against Meltdown and Spectre are getting, unfortunately, hit by fake patches, which is pushing malware to users. For example, Malwarebytes has identified a recently registered domain that is targeting German users in particular, and basically allows you to download a zip archive, which is, you know, legit enough named. It's called Intel AMD Security Patch 11 BSI.zip, and a so-called patch, which is Intel AMD Security Patch 10.1v1.exe, and, well, surprise, surprise, it's actually a piece of malware, and also attempts to connect to various domains and sends encrypted information. So, yeah. Not brilliant that obviously certain people are taking advantage of these, or shall we say the concern and the panic surrounding Meltdown and Spectre to put out fake patches, but unfortunately it's not unheard of in the way of tech. Just be very, very careful, and of course just get your patches from well-known sources only. Just be a little more cautious, I guess, is what I'm saying. So regarding the blue screen of death, you know, hopefully that's not too widespread, and hopefully it will be addressed in future updates that hopefully won't be malware, but, you know, we'll find out. But yeah, that's me done for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Do let me know your thoughts and comments in the description, the comments below, as always. Thank you very much again. Bye-bye.